Next up, we have Jippy.
Going on. My name is Jippy. I came in 4th place last week in the beat battle from Kenny, and I just wanted to break it down for y'all real quick. Shout out to Kenny and the Discord, both honestly, for their inspiration. Y'all keeping me inspired for the past year and a half. I've been entering these battles for 16 months actually, which is pretty crazy. And I used to take off work and everything just to enter them. So good looks to y'all for keeping me inspired and keeping me getting better every day. Feels good to finally get a W, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm here to break it down just to show y'all what is good, what I did. All right, so we started with the sample here in Logic. We all know what it was. The usual garbage. This was from Khaled, actually, so, you know, at least we get the co-production on that. That little strum there is the one I used. I thought it had a little tonality to it. So I threw it into the sampler over here, and I think I just played some stuff out. I was messing around. I tried to play some chords, which did not work, and then I ended up just going for the low drone that you ended up hearing on my beat. Over here. So I basically just went for that low drone. Like I said, I pitched it down a lot, and then I was like, how can I make this sound even angrier? Because at that point, I kind of knew what beat I was going to go for. I threw a bit crusher on it, which is a rare choice. Just makes it sound fucking grimy. And then I actually was like, that's a little too much, so I dialed it back using an EQ and a couple of delays just to take out some of the low lows and high highs, make room for some drums. And then everybody knew what my drums were in the chat.
Jippy, is that drum break a Beat Butcher drum break? I recognize it. I like the feel of the beat, but there's some things that feel muddy.
In the chat, and Kenny knew what they were too, which is pretty funny. I guess I need to be a little more discreet with that. Generally I do chop them up a little bit more, but I just thought this sounded so good as it was, I left it. I stretched, I don't think it was the exact BPM as the original sample, but it sounds close enough clearly, so everyone knew what it was. The Beat Butcher break, I just thought it sounded super hard over that droning noise. Basically the reason I picked that wasn't even because of how it sounded, the drums. It was just this little part that I threw in the intro. I just thought that sounded awesome, and it was going to drag everyone in. Usually when I'm voting, I like these beats to drag me in the first second or 3 seconds, if not. So that's usually what I go for in my beats, is just something really cool or loud or crazy off the bat. So I went with that. Then I actually, once I had the bass and drums going on, or I guess the drone and the drums, I added a bass. A live bass. Took me a few takes, 13. I'm not very good at guitar, but I always try to throw it in there. I just think there's nothing that quite sounds like it, so I got a decent take that kind of mimicked the drone. And then I copied it twice. For one of them I threw on an R bass, and for one of them I threw on a guitar stomp with some fuzz, and just those two sounds like this. So that's probably where a lot of the mud Kenny was talking about came from, and I'm not going to lie, I didn't EQ either of these basses in the hour that I had. Definitely probably should have taken out some of those frequencies and left room for the lead and for the kick drum and all that, but I was a little pressed for time, I guess, so I just decided not to EQ them. I barely even threw plugins on a lot of this stuff. It's kind of funny. But then we had this basically, which was essentially the grunt of my beat. Like at that point I was like, all right, this is pretty hard. I guess I need a B section now, because all the best beats have a B section, right? Most of these top 10 beats aren't going to win with a minute-long loop. So I for some reason decided to go with these sparkly piano chords next. I don't know why. I played them live, I think over the drum loop and the bass that I had played in. They're not quantized or anything. Again, time was kind of pressing, and I think Kenny's right. Part of the reason the chords don't sound awesome is that I didn't really do much to the stock piano sound. I fucking threw a delay on it. It's pretty basic.
The piano chords worked kinda, but felt awkward. Maybe it was the sound choice.
I layered that, like I said, with the drum and the bass, which I cut out for a bar there, but then they come back in. That sounded pretty good, I thought, so I was like, what can I add to that? I was going on with the droning sound. I don't know if you noticed, but I played the same chord there and there. Just kind of to keep up with the droning feel, and I actually played in some live guitar, which kind of has a drone to it too. I'll just solo that. Just played the same note the whole time. I actually hit an accidental note there. Like I said, I'm not awesome at guitar, but then I made it sound kind of synthy by throwing I threw an amp with an amp reverb, I threw distortion, and I threw Valhalla Room for some reverb. Just make it sound like it barely was a guitar anymore at that point. Kind of adds to the spooky vibe, the spaciness of the beat. And if you play that with the bass and the drums, it sounds pretty good. The piano. But none of that is the sample, obviously. I didn't really want any part of the beat to go without the sample, so I actually made the little hi-hat type clicky sound out of the sample. I didn't throw any plugins or anything on it. It was just a double strum that Khaled did like near the end of the sample that I pitched way up, and it just sounded cool as a click. So I just clicked that, played that in there, and then that's basically gonna be the gist of like what I looped. I looped that second part, cut out some drums here and there, cut out some different things, and then go back to like the main part. And then at the end I have basically, yeah, it just goes no drums with just the bass. Kind of like a growling outro before one final bar of the loop. Under all that, I threw a couple texture sounds in the beginning that I probably could have thrown in a couple more times. I just, again, decided not to because of time, I guess. But these were all actually from Monty's kit, which is a crowd favorite here at the Kenny Discord. It's all just adding some sounds, a little Foley in the background. Always fun. Adds some texture. And then really what makes my beat sound so good and loud was the mastering chain, which I stole from the Count when he did a Q&A. Pro Q3 subgroup source 3, which I sometimes tweak a little bit to add a little low end or things like that, but it really does a great job just making everything sound like really good. The transients pop so much more, I feel like, the second you throw this on there. Next is J37. I just use this mostly for the saturation. Like some tape saturation. I have it turned up 5.6 dB, which is kind of a lot of saturation. Again, just kind of making it sound big, mean. I added beat compressor from Waves. Just make it sound a little touched up. I used the mastering preset and tweaked it a little bit. This is low-key one of my favorite plugins. The TR5 Classic Clipper. I got this from the Count as well. He says he throws it on most of his drums. And you can crank this thing like up to like 8 or 9 dB a lot of the time and not even lose much of the transient. It's pretty crazy. So throw that on instantly. Like, just basically makes everything louder and you don't really lose anything, in my opinion. Like, it's pretty crazy what that thing can do. And then I just throw a limiter on there. Really slammed the limiter probably a lot harder than I should have just because I wanted it to be in everybody's face. Pull up this meter usually so I know what I'm doing. Make sure I'm not like gonna blow anyone's eardrums or speakers off. And that is that. I'll play the beat through one time for you. But yeah, that's it. That's my beat.